What's up, guys? How y'all doing today? Well, baby, if your name is Wendy Williams, I know you guys already heard that her dementia diagnosis has been upheld. We did some digging, and I want to know, first of all, what is Joe Tacopino doing? Second of all, why is that judge still on the case? And third of all, what is up even with this diagnosis? Fourth of all, I know you thought I was going to start with three. Let's talk about The Guardian. Who leaked this to the press outlets? Because this was Wendy's medical information. And I know for a fact Wendy Williams' team wouldn't want this to leak because it's not good for them. So now we got to look at the courts. We got to look at The Guardian. And we got to look at what's going on, y'all. Let's get into this. Okay, first of all, they upheld Wendy's whole thing about the fact that she has, FTD, frontotemporal dementia. It's called FTD and aphasia, whatever, right? Go read the medical diagnosis. But here's the whole thing, right? This frontotemporal dementia was allegedly caught pretty early. It takes about 10 years for you to get to the most dangerous step, where you are completely incapacitated. I feel like there are three things going on. One, why is it we only see rich celebrity women that find themselves in situations like this? Wendy, Brittany, Bruce Willis literally is suffering from something even worse. He got to keep his stuff to the very end. Charlie Sheen was literally the mascot for the crackheads of America, and he still got to keep his stuff. There have been so many famous men actors, Robert Downey Jr., where he was in his crackhead times, that so many famous actors that either was drug-induced Lululand or they literally had cognitive decline. How's it women that seem like they can operate on their own always have to go through this? Now, listen, I looked up a few things. This is not to say that Wendy is operating at 100, but baby, she ain't at 0. And they literally have her operating in a place where she shouldn't even be able to function on her own or independently. She should be walking around like Mr. Burns in that episode of The Simpsons when he got abducted by the aliens and he was walking around looking like he didn't know what to do. Why is this happening? When you even look at when you have this, what usually happens, and she's in the earliest stage of dementia, and you can still function independently and maintain aspects of their lives. They said while they may experience some memory lapses or difficult with specific tasks, they can often still participate in social activities. Caregiving at this stage is often focused on providing support, helping with future planning, and potentially assisting with organizational tasks. So it seems to me that they took a hammer to kill a fly. You know, they took a sledgehammer in order to nail a hole. Don't y'all try to get me on guardianship because I forgot the word. Nail a hammer into the wall. Okay, fine, right? That's one thing that's going on. But two, this medical evaluation. Now, here's the thing. Sabrina Morrissey, I believe, based off of what I've read, it seems like her and the judge are in cahoots. Why do I think that? Wendy don't like Sabrina. I don't care if Sabrina is the best conservator in the Guardian in the world. I know Wendy acts for the Guardian. It seemed like at that time she thought her son was taking advantage of her. She thought Kevin was taking advantage of her. Kelvin, whatever his name is. And she jumped into a guardianship because she thought that would be a way to cut everybody off but not be the bad person. Little did she know those wolves were waiting for her to sign off because she thought it was just going to be temporary enough to cut off support and all this stuff, and it turned in whatever, okay? Sabrina can't account for any of Wendy's money. Sabrina, even to fight this, is using Wendy's money. There are other guardians out there. Why must it be Sabrina? To the point of Wendy is like anybody but you. And Sabrina's like, no, it's going to be me. And the judge is saying the same thing. The judge regularly presides over guardianship cases in which it is Sabrina. Why would a bank say a person cannot be in charge of their money? Okay, maybe. But then you hire a guardian who is a stranger. When Wendy got a very educated family on both sides, you have a guardian who is a stranger and one that Wendy cannot stand. It doesn't matter she might be good. It doesn't matter she can do the job. Wendy doesn't like her. Pack it up. Get her the F out of there. And that's it. Especially Wendy's the one paying for this. If Wendy wants to cycle through 30 guardians, she's the one paying for them. She's the one paying for everything they do. Even down to she's paying for Sabrina's legal bills, her current guardian, when she's like, I don't want you anymore. I don't like the way you treat me. I don't like the way you talk to me. How is it? If Wendy is not on Medicaid, and even if you were on Medicaid, you shouldn't be allowed to go through that suffering. But can you explain to me why? Can you explain to me why Wendy, who's paying for it, can't cycle through a million? A guardian is like a doctor or a lawyer or a manicure. You provide a service. And if I don't like your service, let's get another one. There's hundreds, thousands out there in America. You can cycle through a new one each day. But the judge is fighting for Sabrina to stay in place. That's the second thing that I'm like, this still doesn't pass the sniff test. Third of all, how did Joe Tacopino, and I don't know what's going on, I'm telling you all from the outside inside, riddle me this. How did Joe Tacopino let the judge, or actually scratch that. Let me just focus on the judge, all right? How is the judge, people are side-eyeing saying you and Sabrina are kind of, you put a lot of conservatorships out there, guardianships out there that Sabrina is in charge of, and Sabrina's firm has been sued numerous times. And you keep putting these people in guardianships, okay, fine. But how is it that when Wendy escaped and went to a regular hospital, it wasn't Cedars-Sinai, but it was that one that's in it. Don't put me in the guard. See how easy it is to figure this stuff? Anyway, it was a very Sloan Catering. No, it's not Sloan Catering. It was a very respected hospital. It slips my mind right now. That does mental diagnosis. And independent doctors went in and diagnosed Wendy and said she was fine. Then the judge said, all right, let's have it. And this is only after her TMZ got involved, her niece got involved, Joe Tacopino got involved, even though I'm waiting to see the results of him being involved. I'm looking at him like, was A$AP Rocky a fluke? Or are you going to pull this up and get this thing popping on behalf of your client, Wendy? But let me just get to the point. They were like, all right, bet. Now let's get a full evaluation through mental professionals. Let's do this. And the judge refused. And the judge said, no, I'm going to pick the 3 doctors we like working with. But if you're part of the con, and if you have this little thing going on, then of course your people are going to say whatever. Because that's why you're going with them, because they're going to tell you something you want to hear. If everything you're saying about Wendy is true, why didn't you just, if everything you're saying about Wendy is true, why didn't you just go and get independent doctors? That way, Tacopino couldn't say nothing, Wendy couldn't say nothing, her niece couldn't say anything. Instead, you chose to fight to keep any independent doctors off of it and go with doctors that you like working with, and the same doctors in all your guardianship cases that have diagnosed the person. Now, here's the thing. 2 things can be true at once. Wendy could have FTD and aphasia, right? She could have. However, the tests that were performed showed that she is not at the point of mental decline, that she needs all rights to her money, to her body, to her autonomy, to her living arrangements. She is not to the point where she needs somebody over her life like that. And even if she was, why can't she get that service in her house? Why would she go to this care facility? Y'all, Wendy is paying for it. You taking her money, she don't even know if she got 50 cents to buy bubble gum. Okay? Or no one would need $13.99 to buy a bottle of Smirnoff. The point of the matter is, right? Why can't she do that in her house? Why can't her will and needs be respected? You're the guardian to make sure nobody steals her money. Instead, she is fighting with you about whether she can go up, whether she can put on some booty shorts and some high top dunks. Because you know one thing Wendy gonna do, she gonna show those legs and go out to eat some pasta with her niece. You're going to literally, if she wants to go out and buy the whole Louis Vuitton store, back in the day, they used to just call people just eccentric rich people. Now, all of a sudden, it is turning into what? Again, why is this only happening to rich women, specifically Wendy? 2, Tell me why the judge refused to have independent doctors that did not have ties to the court or Wendy's camp. But these are verified, high-profile doctors. 3, tell me why she can't have access to her money. And 4, and this is the most important thing, if Wendy don't like that woman, why are you forcing her to be with this woman? It is an extra indignity that somebody that is suffering from mental decline shouldn't have to go through. Wendy is paying for all that. Hire 1,000 new people. Who cares? They are service workers. They are service providers. And when you are providing somebody a service, they must like you in order to keep getting services from you, because if they don't, they'll just find a new one. That goes for lawyers, doctors, manicures. It doesn't matter. Again, this is all very weird. And I'm looking for Tacopino to come out and maybe even start suing. Who leaked Wendy's medical diagnosis? This is a sealed court order. Who leaked the medical diagnosis? What's going out? Is that a real medical diagnosis? Why is it being upheld? And even if it's being upheld, you're now saying we have to wait until the end of the year to see if Sabrina is going to stay on the case when Sabrina is the main problem Wendy had a problem with? Anyway, y'all, listen. This story is developing. There's a lot of questions. I don't care what you think of Wendy Williams as a person and what she did. I don't care. We're talking about human beings, because one thing we've seen in this new version of America, baby, when you see them doing it to someone else, trampling on rights, and you're laughing at it and kikiing and that's karma, baby, don't say no when karma comes to your door too. I'm just saying. Again, this is about human rights. This is about human rights. Anyway, y'all, let me know what you think in the comments. I'll talk to y'all later. Bye.